Yo. What's good? What's good? It's Stormy B Man, and I am back. Welcoming you to Nerds on Culture with Stormy B Man for this Monday, June 22nd, 2026. We've been away for a minute, but we're back. And this is number 162 in the series of Nerds. And as I had promised, we are coming back with where we said we would return to Spike Lee's School Daze from 1998, a film that was still in the infancy of Spike Lee's film career as a director, producer, and writer, and amidst a small renaissance that was happening with Black film and Black film directors. And Spike headed up that talented crop with various productions that he was bringing when he burst into the market with She's Gotta Have It, which we did a feature on that a few months back. But we're here to talk about School Daze because this capitalized on what was going on when Bill Cosby was successful with not only the Cosby Show, but the spinoff, A Different World, where we had a chance to see young Black hopefuls embarking on a higher education type storyline and it is a way that we had never been depicted, either on television or on film. So Spike capitalized on that by introducing college life from the Black experience. And he did it in a way that we all can relate to, especially if you have family members, yourself, colleagues, and friends that you may have known with the college experience. He touched on a little bit of everything in his film, and it was successful and popular, including dance numbers and music that went along with this, even fashion that came along with this. And we are going to talk about School Daze this evening. And I got my brother Drew Titan in the building with me this evening. What's going on, Drew? Yeah.
Yeah, we all set, man. We all set. I know we put this off for a little bit, but sometimes you need to walk away from certain things and regroup, get your mind right, and come on back and assess certain things and come on. You got to recharge, is what I'm saying. Sometimes you got to recharge. So it's cool, and I'm excited because now we have other avenues where we can actually give you the full experience of what we do here, especially on this show. So I'm sure y'all see the link. We're going to have a discussion here on YouTube, then we're going to shut it down on YouTube and migrate over to Rumble, where you can get the full experience of the show, and have fun with it and engage in a discussion. We've been wanting to talk about this for a while now, a couple of months. And for those of you who haven't seen this, this is a 90s film. This came out when I was in high school, I believe. And
88.
80. Oh, whoa.
88.
I was in junior high school. I was about to go to high school. And what a way to have a look into Black college life. Not a true story, but true to life. And I saw this in the movies, and I was like, man, is this what college like? But Spike Lee is very surgical with his message. And where I didn't understand it at 13 years old, I understood later as I got older. And I'm like, wow. My mother was telling me, yeah, it was really like that. And you appreciate this film because it shows just how dysfunctional we can be as a community. So if you haven't seen it, this is your recommendation. So we're going to discuss it in detail tonight.
And it's interesting that we are going to discuss the film because, as you guys may notice, I got a different backdrop for us, for nerds here, and I want to explain it a little bit. This is a configuration designed through AI, but it is so appropriate for our show because this cloth backdrop that you see with the tree of life in the center, and sprinkled around it are different, if I want to say, monuments and structures that represent culture and history. And when I put in the AI what I was looking for, and it developed this cloth for me. I remember sharing it with Drew when I first had it created, and I was like, man, this is perfect, because when I saw it, the glyphs on it and everything are cultural glyphs and from language from different parts of the world. And if you see not only at the tree of life, flowing from the tree of life is a river. And that is something that is so poignant. It is very appropriate for what we do on this show. So that's our backdrop for Nerds. And speaking of the film, the poster, the theatrical poster, what you guys may not see in this kind of cut down image of it, during this time, there was a resurgence of Afrocentric culture examination. And kente cloth and kente designed garment and wear, it was flowing through our community.
Yes.
And even in this poster, but you just can't see it because it's been trimmed off. But Spike had captured that as well. There are a lot of dynamics that were a part of the film School Daze. Even figure representatives, that were in this film. You had people who were pledging at university. You had people who were playing sport. You had people who were on committees and people who were forming organizations on campus for Black awareness and all of this. It was all of that experience that made everything relatable. And a few of these people that were in this film ended up being on some of the television shows and series that we love. Martin, The Cosby Show, A Different World. Some of these people were there, and some of them went on to become even bigger and greater actors and actresses due to the experience of being able to be launched forward through Spike Lee's productions. Yeah, man, this is why you have to sometimes just step back and reflect upon things, because we have a whole new generation of young people who may not know anything about this, but it is something that you can reach back and go back and look into it yourself and allow it to be what it is, a part of your experience. Even if it's unknown, make yourself familiar to it. Your thoughts on that, Drew?
A lot of films, sometimes timing is very important, and you got to understand, for those who are our age, there was no internet, of course, in 1988. But you got to understand, guys like Bill Cosby was very, very instrumental in the community. That Cosby Show. Did we do the Cosby Show at all?
Yes.
Okay. I want to revisit that as a reminder, and we can actually do it here on Rumble freely. You guys will have no idea how powerful it was. Certain things, he wanted to normalize the other side. Not all Black people came up like good times, scratching and surviving. You had a dad that was a doctor, the mother was a lawyer. They owned an entire brownstone in Brooklyn, and they had regular family issues every episode. And it was a great show. And the reason why I brought the Cosby Show up is because when you make a lateral move into theater, when Spike Lee came along, he tackled a lot of the things that were taboo to talk about, and he did it his way. And it was big budget, and he was anti-Hollywood. and he was also in touch with the culture, is what I'm saying. 88 into the early 90s, we were in touch with the community, was in touch. It was called Afrocentric, and we were getting educated about who we were, and it was on the television, it was in the movies, and it was definitely in the music. And one of the things I wanted to do is talk about how the music industry kind of took what we were doing and reversed it in the 90s. And it sort of set us back. And that's the problem when we didn't own our own. Guys like KRS-One, who flagship Knowledge of Self. Then you saw groups like X-Clan and Public Enemy. And, you know, it wasn't so much Kill Whitey, but it was Knowledge of Self. And they were pro-black business and pro-doing it ourselves, you know, and becoming self-sufficient. And it was a whole thing in the late 80s going into the 90s. And this film, go ahead.
And we'll get on that, but we'll get on that on Rumble.
Right, correct.
Because
I know. Yeah.
There's just only so much that we'll talk about here.
Right.
And there's a reason for that. And the reason is every bit as strong as what goes against us and what we represent.
Right.
So even with that said, in about another 3 minutes, we will head there. One of the things that I wanted to pull out of what you were saying about what Bill Cosby had done with television, Spike Lee was doing with film. And there came a point where their careers and what they were doing professionally crossed and intertwined when Spike Lee took on the daunting task of Malcolm X.
Mm-hmm.
And Bill Cosby, Michael Jordan, Oprah Winfrey, and a few other of the prominent Black established personalities from that particular period of time assisted in he completing the film, because the budget was limited to a certain degree, and in order to make the quality film that it ended up being, he sought out the assistance from some of these people who became investors in that project and made it possible.
Right.
So there's something very historical about that, the collaboration, and also understand and know that this film here that we're talking about this evening also is a part of that, because it shows through various messages during this film how we were able to even receive what Spike was able to do, collaborating with those other personalities to put Malcolm X out. Because there's some poignant scenes in this film, and there's a byline also about the separation that takes place within our own community. For those of us who follow the sport of boxing, and you know, we do our boxing content, we're experiencing it right now.
Yeah.
In the sport of boxing. But this is not a boxing conversation. I just want to establish the fact that it is very relatable for what has transpired and what we still to this day struggle with, because there are just some people who haven't caught up to what's important, and they haven't put down those things that bind us from being progressive and elevating. So Any comment on that, Drew, before we get ready to make our move?
You know, this takes me back because I was a teenager. And, you know, as you was talking, there was a lot of things that, you know how you haven't thought about something in a long time and then something reminds you of it? That's where I'm at. I mean, I was very proud at that time. And I was still young, but this era actually made me pick up a book and read. And my parents noticed that. They was like, oh man, you know, you're not in front of the boob tube. They used to call the TV the boob tube. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, in Harlem, this was a whole thing. There were black people selling books on like every corner. And this was a time where we was getting to know ourselves as a community. And these are things that people don't talk about. I can't speak nationwide, but I know in New York, I don't care what the stats say, crime was down. The cops was running around in my city picking fights with black people and arresting people on some nonsense. All right, but crime was down. We wasn't calling each other my nigga. My nigga was, what's up, brother? What's up, brother? How you doing, brother? You know, and we were like sharing ideas. Have you read this book? Have you got this book? Yo, I read this, and you know, on 125th Street,
Poetry slams, and
poetry slams. We can
open mics where people
right
wrote and read literature, and all of that was from that elevated point. And
yeah, we were dressing, like I said, it was very Afrocentric. People were growing their hair out. We were becoming more well-spoken. Hip hop had categories now, and the knowledge of self category was getting really big, and it was a sight. It was something to be proud of. And you know, you learned that it was around that time I learned about King Leopold II. And I said, who's this guy? What? It was crazy. They don't teach this in school, but we learned all about the juice boxes, you know. But you know, it was wild, man. But you know, and they really, you know, they forced NWA in our face. I'll talk about it some other time, but you know, I know when things we went backwards. We was going forward, and then we went backwards with the help of labels, and you dangle a little money in front of these dudes' face, and then, you know.
And there's something else. I'm glad you mentioned that about the music, because there's something else to add into this. Mm-hmm. But we want to give everybody a chance to grab a beverage, a little bit of a snack, and we're going to head on over and get ready to rumble. So we'll give you a minute or two to get that together. In the meantime, for those that are on the pages of YT for Stormy B-Man's channel and the Temple of Culture and Entertainment channels, meet us on Rumble.
See you there. Let me run and grab a glass of water real quick.